a lot of
What the? Hello, I'm Jeffrey K. Horcrims, and these are all the same people who were here before. But I do feel like it's incumbent upon me to reveal the information that I just heard, which is that Ryan Hartman has to shit.
No,
bad.
That's not what
that doesn't even sound like a thing
paraphrased.
I've said. I've never shit in my life. I don't even know how I would start.
Okay, so
finally, we're talking about your bathroom problems.
Exactly. So now I feel
I've
confident
shit a lot today, and I feel like I'm not done. Just
all right,
We'll get it. Go ahead. Who's gonna know?
I don't know where it's all coming from.
Well, I have a suspicion, but we can go into it after table talk. I mean, I feel like there's only a couple places it really could, be born from. Hello, bow your heads. Enter the ritual space. There is now going to be a recitation from the Book of Alyssa. Table talk, 6 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Jerry, announce Idle Champions code giveaway. Well, it's only my great pleasure to do so. We are giving away the big Walnut bundle, featuring an unlock for Walnut DANKGRASS, 42 Walnut gold chests, and an exclusive golden epic. You know what to do. Engage.
You said it wrong. It's a nut bumble. We established that in the episode.
Nut bumble.
A no bumble. Obviously, it's in there. I see that Alyssa is already in here typing. I assume Nut Bumble has now been added canonically. It's available. Become active in chat.
Dictionary. There we go.
No, I was in chat before for the Cauldron tips, and I was active in chat, and it was exhilarating.
Did you win? We'll find out.
I don't think so. Do as I have done and become active. Number 2, top donor callouts as usual. To my right, DONAAR, how are things at the hut?
Man, we're just jumping right in.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you have to shit. You have to shit like crazy. I don't want to be like. I don't want to be a barrier.
Look, I appreciate the pace. Let me get that out there.
I'm delivering.
If anyone gets it, listen, I get it. All right.
I'm grateful that you have a Zoom background up because we cannot see that you're actually in
the toilet,
wild motion,
in the toilet,
just spinning around.
You don't know what room I'm in right now. Who knows?
In the peepus room.
No, imagine a situation like those industrial sprinklers. But shit.
Exactly.
And that's basically what's up.
But like the Fear Factor camera, like he's just, oh
yeah.
My God.
And there's a beetle somewhere. Anyway.
Yeah.
Just looking.
Anyway, I'm in the den.
Right,
and
whatever.
Things are good. That's all. Yeah. Next.
Is there anybody else that you'd like to thank or anything like that?
Yeah. Well, I'm currently in the midst of a pretty heated legal battle with a certain former employee that we won't name. But it's looking like I've retained some pretty strong legal counsel, and I think they're going to guide me well. You might be familiar, someone that goes by the name of Canaan Flaxvine.
Oh, what a comfort that must be.
Yeah.
Oh boy,
you gotta watch out. Law degree. That's exciting.
He got his correspondence, that, and I think TV VCR repair. Like it was like a combo degree. So
wow, it's one price.
I mean, I'm getting a value out of this. Yeah. Hey, fix the tracking on my copy of 3 Men and a Baby, and then also file this court document for me. So,
oh man, so this is what you're describing, DONAAR, is basically the perfect outcome.
Yeah, I mean, everything's coming up DONAAR right now.
What a day!
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's all celebrate.
24 hours.
To the right of my right, Ms. DANKGRASS, is there any new business?
There was, but whatever it was went right out of the old noodle.
It happens.
Walnut. Hang on, wait. I'm gonna channel.
I'm Walnut.
The nut. Nobody out pizzas the
nut. Nobody out pizzas the nut.
Okay.
You're gonna hurt yourself.
I have a new member to the Grove. You'll have to enjoy those before jokes. I don't have any good after jokes, but I do love your username. It's Gunks.
It's Gunks. Well, it is Gunks. Obviously, that fan favorite character.
It won't be Gunks when you join the Grove.
No. Hey, all right. I love what I'm hearing. Now, Rosie Beestinger, I understand that stars are real. Is that? Yeah. I mean, is that accurate? Am I wrong on that, or is that? I mean, I don't know.
You're wrong about a lot of things, but on this, you're correct.
Okay, well, I'll take it.
Yeah. Do you have any other questions for me?
No, that's it.
All right.
All right. Emerging. No, I mean, yeah.
Let me tell you more. Hang on. You didn't ask the question, but I got the answer for you. I look up in the sky today, and there's this weird thing that's going on with Aquarius and the equinox. And
I love aquariums.
Usually I just see one constellation. The rest is just garbage, just random assortment of stars. But today, 2 constellations, and I've named them. Ready? 1, Bentoma. The second one, Cake. They're right next to each other, Bentoma and Cake. And they don't look anything like this. They're not nearly as cool as this one, but they're still pretty good.
Well, they constitute a single shared sort of star matrix, a celestial matrix. I mean, is that basically All right.
Sure.
Now, Kathristraub, have there been any emanations from the void?
All the time. This thing is so noisy, and the void is a misnomer. Like, I would rather it actually be silent, but
is this
it's
Ryan's
just a
butt
racket. I'm
Avoid
sorry,
the
what is he
void.
doing?
Is it
Yeah,
Ryan's
you gotta
butt?
stay away.
Yeah.
You gotta keep clear. Ryan, tell me how the void's doing, and just a nod or a shake is all we need. If you're doing, oh yeah, he's peering in. Well, there's a lot of secrets to be discovered with and it helps to have 2 pairs of eyes. Thankfully, I noticed that Tyrannosaurus looking back, as Nietzsche might have told us, but he may have also received. He went right into that.
He's hiding from the lawsuit.
That's where he is, and he's also going to be discovering probably a piece of paper that I put my blood on, that anybody can have, but not everyone will get.
Oh, okay, I think I can follow that down. Now, obviously, for my part, Cauldron Tipper.
I think I get the gist.
Ooh, Cauldron Tipper. Now, that's my James Hetfield Cauldron Tipper.
Who could it be? Who could it be now?
I wish I had an ancient Casio. Well, it's Tyrannosaurus and Canaan Flaxvine. All right, so that's what happened. You know, and we live in that's the world we live in. We have to accept it. And
this is the world we live in.
I just made my children listen to this, and I made them sit for the whole thing. They'll never listen to it again.
There's a complicated, rich web of lore that has been created here. So the void, Ryan's butthole, we peered into it. We found Tyrannosaurus within it. Tyrannosaurus is also the one initiating the hostile takeover of the Yum Yum Hut, and Canaan Flaxvine is the lawyer fighting it, and they both tipped the cauldron.
I feel like Faerûn
gods battle in the heavens.
I feel like some Faerûn has crept in here.
Yeah. I mean, only Ryan could say if that's what crept in.
Yeah, so
they were causing the problems.
Conflict of interest.
I'll never tell.
But it is absolutely the case that Tyrannosaurus and Canaan Flaxvine did collaborate in a vigorous meta tip of the Ultra Cauldron.
I'm not done world building.
Yeah, exactly. It's obviously the IP is very, very embroidered at this point. When I go back to the Book of Alyssa, I see that there is a poll result discussion. And ultimately, what I have here, now they obviously split the difference here. Brahma, Ludier, I see 49%. At any rate, that's what Buelen's script gave me as the winner. But my guess is that if I actually looked at the poll thing, it would probably say 49% and 49%, which is my guess. Ton Ka Ta is actually just for your own purpose. Yes, it is Trevor's girlfriend who is a lich. We had a whole adventure where the Doomgate denizens were able to do some matchmaker activity, right? But it should also be established that is also the lich form of a character that I had in high school.
Aha.
So you should know there are obviously, typically magical liches, right? That's the classic sense. It's the wizard, but there are divine liches as well. And so I don't want to tell on myself too much. Obviously 18-year-old Jerry, I consider a personal enemy. I don't want to laud them in any way, but that is where that name came from. Kachik-cha obviously is a reference to my own larvae. Kachik-cha is what my eldest child would call my youngest child when we were at the beach, because they claimed that she was the queen of the crabs.
Oh, and that's cool.
That was their name for her. And that always brought me a lot of joy. But in terms of Brahma Ludier, the main thing I wanted to emphasize is that, Brahma was a very tragic figure in the very first part of this, season 4 last campaign, in terms of Sparata, this bizarre city that is being actively manipulated by Elder Brian. And you go nuts when you get there so that it can generate... it's just basically using every conscious being there to try to generate outcomes. It's just spinning a cosmic tumbler with people's consciousness. And so once she was able to escape even just a few moments out of town, she reverted to the character that we know, and then spent the rest of the year doing everything that she could to help Certainty Drawn bring those malevolent events to a close. And then I think the main thing I want to emphasize is the moment from the last game where Audra, so Brahma's pretty tough. That's her role in the relationship. And but in the presence of Audra, one snap is all it takes to revert to that student posture. And so the very, very strong implication that I would like to make, at least for the Shadow Council, is that Brahma has now taken up the tutelage of Prism. And when Audra says, teach her the loot, what Audra means is train her as an assassin. So that's the headcanon for you. Moving forward, file that away, enjoy it, savor it. Number 4 in the Book of Alyssa, Jerry Winter callouts.
Wait, that was so savory, and then you just booted on by it. Whatever, you know what? I just want to take a minute and appreciate. I liked it.
Well, I figured that you were already there. I figured that. I guess we never discussed it, but that's. Moving forward, they have their own graphic novel or whatever. These rivals that that have to train, they have to learn from each other. It's a great show. I'll talk to Netflix. I'll see if I can get that made. But Idle Champions codes. Were you active in chat? Let's find out. Kindled Sky and Neekman, get your mitts on these Ms. DANKGRASS codes. Elderwood Academy, Walnut Custom Spellbook, a true artifact of our 4-year campaign. A genuine delight for me. Barovian Bex, who I've just actually started talking with on the tweeter. I am overjoyed that it should land in such an honored realm. Level Up Dice, Ionized Clear Quartz set. Do not eat unless you're very hungry.
Eat a little bit.
Well, a little nibble. Admiral Sen, thank you so much. Now, MVP, is there an inanimate object that we can elevate to most valued?
Vertex's mustache.
Tomatoes.
Oh.
No. The mustache is awesome. I was going to suggest the chair that he spun around and then absorbed.
Whatever it is, it's Vertex, though. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Whatever Vertex said, whatever came out of his mouth.
It was really funny. Like, my fantasy scenario, according to the Book of Alyssa, obviously we enter into the Zoom. We're ready a half an hour or so before it's time to go live, just to make sure that everything is dialed in, right? But I had to pause this Zoom so that I could watch the episode.
Yeah,
I can't even imagine.
Also, you started typing a live chat just saying the things that we had done, which reminded me a lot of like if you ever watch Arnold Schwarzenegger do like direct behind the scene talks over like Total Recall. It's just him being like, "Oh, this is the scene where I totally punched this guy." Like it's just him saying the things that are happening.
This guy. Anyway, now all I am saying is that it's going to be such a delight. I always think about it in the future, right? So somebody finds this C-Team thing and they start watching it. Somebody's like, "Oh man, you got to check out the C-Team." And they're like, "I guess." And they're watching a few episodes and they're like, "Wait a second." So they're just like in different versions of the inn. And then eventually they get way into it. And now they're like, okay, so Rosie is actually like, wait a second, DONAAR is like 18? And like Rosie's like cleaning and like taking care? Like,
and they never left the test market?
Yeah, right, exactly. These are the big questions, right? Obviously, I believe the planar synchronous answers that question in full, but, you know, maintain it. All I'm saying is that I'm so delighted that at some point somebody's going to get near the end of the whole show, and they're going to hit this episode, which is a delight. There is this Ryan shit in this episode is too good. Yeah, it is too good.
I started calling this Table Talks ago because I wanted.
I am amazing.
I wanted to be the first.
Obviously. Yes, that's the official position.
Unfortunately, I was trying to do other stuff while I was in here, so I didn't get to catch all of it. But I was cracking up a lot at. Tris was dropping bombs. God, I was dying.
There was heat.
Today. Jesus.
There was heat. Oh, dude, this mom is the apex.
The Mothman inspired, like out of nowhere, this character development on the Mothman.
It's
somebody in chat wanted to know, is this the Mothman or just a Mothman?
Oh, I don't subscribe that there's one Mothman. I think Mothman is a type of cryptid, one of which I aspire to become. Thank you.
Yeah, it's keep reaching for the stars.
I think they're special here on Earth, and like in this plane of existence, there's maybe one, but then D&D there's a bunch. There's a zillion.
I completely disagree, and after this call, please stay on for my Mothman dissertation.
Okay. Get real. I'm gonna share my screen. We're gonna show the TED Talk. So I have standard game discussion and question answering. Now, does anybody have a discussion, or should I bring up the question answering phase and we can leave this to the Shadow Council, Mayor Labors, please them?
Yeah, I have a question. I'm still curious about this. We had prepped ahead of time, like, oh, we're gonna do a Doomgate episode for Halloween, but there was an hour, a delightful hour, of establishing that Cthulhu Straub now has a cult.
True.
And I'm wondering, is that gonna be a Chekhov's gun? Is that gonna come back to haunt us in the next few episodes? I don't know. Well, it's just a thought.
I mean, do you authentically think that Bethany has it in her to fire that weapon?
No, but
Tina
or Tony. Tina and Tony, that's the real power couple.
Oh yeah.
Listen, I think I understand, Jerry, that you like to set things up to, hint at a larger world and then just let them sit and never do anything with them.
Correct.
So my assumption is that that's the end of that.
That's right. You'll never hear from him again.
But you do have a great end for your final lore, if you have one, which would be writing the book of the that you need to leave behind.
Yeah, that could be pretty rich. That could be pretty rich. Yeah. Now, Ram Rapara asks, who is your favorite Doomgate PC or NPC?
I don't know how could you watch this episode and not say Vertex? Whatever answer may have existed prior has been blown out. Although I guess NPC, special place in my heart for Chichikcha.
Yeah.
I also like Chichikcha, and
we like this bug.
Hasn't done very much, but the mantisness.
Yeah,
I love it.
He made knives. He's making them. Just devil may care.
A very compelling Chichikcha noise during this episode, Tristan, and I think that pushed me over the edge. I think it's Chichikcha for me.
Are you team Chichikcha?
Yeah. I'm gonna have to go full Chichikcha.
That's powerful. Hey, now Yithian Historian wants to know, Tristan, how bad does the mom voice hurt?
Oh, baby, it goes down smooth.
Is it easy?
No, it's incredibly horrible on my vocal cords. However, I love it, and I will do it until I can no longer speak. I think what was more damaging on the larynx and esophagus this time was the laughter, and that my brand of laughter, when I get going too hard, you've all heard it for years now, but especially in this episode, it just seizes up and no air can get through, and I just kind of squeak heave for a long time. That hurts. So thank you, treasured friends.
Yes. Now, Splinter Smith says, give us costume deets, players and or characters. But I feel like that's quite broad.
Well, Cersei Lannister wore this dress that I really like in the 3rd season, which is kind of a sort of a black brocade fabric. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I like this exact same answer.
Yeah, totally. 100.
Dress of the year. Dodie. How about you, Ryan? Is there a dress that you like?
For Kate?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
I thought you just said worm.
Or whatever.
Worm?
Sure. Whatever.
Yeah, I think that would work.
So
like worms.
I mean,
I have
Vertex is a cube. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean the dress could just be floating in there, I guess.
It's true.
Are any of you wearing a costume? Anybody's kids got a good costume this year? I'm not.
Is this a Halloween question? Got it.
Oh.
So Brenna for Aronia, Brenna is making a like a based on like an old pattern, like a 1950s dress. For some reason, Ronya wanted to be like a 50s woman. I'll send pics along.
Like a poodle skirt?
Like a greaser?
Yeah, we watched Grease, and I think it really got in there.
Yeah, it does.
It do that.
I think it kind of got a hold of her a little bit. I think that sleepover was aspirational.
I'm gonna just use my makeup to paint on a mustache, and I got a little badge, a little thing. I'm gonna be Ted Lasso, but I'm not going anywhere. It's just for me.
Yeah, no.
My thing.
I got a cow costume I wear every year.
Oh, really? I have a bee.
Yeah,
that's my thing. And then Brenna has she has like the flower like head thing, and it's like, hey, I guess I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, and Chloe's gonna be a hedgehog.
Nice. Shadow the Hedgehog?
No, just a little,
with the guns.
Yeah.
Nice.
Just a little hedgehog, just a little brown hedgehog costume. It's got little quills, and there's a little apple that sticks on the quills. It's cute.
Nice. I have a TikTok I need to send you later. It's perverse. Dead henchman.
About Shadow.
Yeah, exactly. It's about Shadow. It's incredible. What to you is the funniest episode? Gosh, we've been doing it for a very, very long time. I mean, for me, I have a very high opinion of this one in terms of actually just being legitimately silly. But the Doomgate episodes in general have been whacked out. Do you remember when we did that episode at TwitchCon? Mm-hmm. And nobody could really tell us where the stage was, and then we went there and it was like 12 people. Yeah, do you remember this?
TwitchCon sucked.
It was genuinely a bizarre experience. And one of those people was my wife, Brenna. I think a lot of people had a hard time finding the theater.
It was broadcast, okay? It's about streaming.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I've been told.
I guess that's true.
We did all right. There was it wasn't a full theater, but there was 100 or two.
Nah, that wasn't it. But I think it was
bigger.
Fine. It was for the. It was
there
was
a bigger crowd there. I know how theaters work.
Okay, I run conventions.
No.
So consider this.
Count, so
now we're getting into some perverted shit from S.A. Wells.
Nice
question. In our next game session, my wife's paladin will be helping a succubus get married to her warlock girlfriend. Rawr!
Aww.
I have never seen this level of planning from the party. Yep, I bet. As the C team ends, boo. Are you comforted by the amount and the kind of D&D you have inspired in your audience? Thank you for everything.
That was really sweet, but it was a question that started with succubus. I was really sitting on that idea for a second.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Is there a way to conflate them? Because I was going to say that like it is sweet and it is nice to think that something we have done is like inspires these games. But if it just inspires this sort of perversion.
Yeah, exactly.
Come
this
down
kind
on
of
it, say no.
This twisted behavior.
That's homophobic.
911.
Fundamentally, yeah, I think that C-Team is fundamentally like it's a Christian show, and it's about morals and it's about good behavior,
family values.
The nuclear family,
and how to go to heaven, and how to be a good person and be in heaven,
and how to be a good angel man.
Please stop.
Now, more striking than lovely, a handle I've always appreciated. As the C-Team comes to an end, the C-Team is coming to an end, which sucks. But you all seem to have so much fun playing this game together. Will you continue to play D&D off camera?
Absolutely not, no.
Either with each other or with other parties? Definitely not.
Never again. No,
we're never going to play.
I should never roll a D20. Never again.
What's the point? Okay?
No.
It's been ruined.
Legally, I have to quit my job the day that this is over, so I can have. I'm going cold turkey. No Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah,
you go out on top. Right.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's like I'm gonna run game for a bunch of ne'er-do-wells, bunch of Johnny-come-latelys. The answer is no.
The answer is hopefully. I don't know. Obviously, we're all gonna play D&D again someday. Maybe not with each other, because God, sick of that. But one of the questions I've been haranguing this group with is, okay, what are we doing? What are we doing next?
No, it's true.
How are we hanging out next?
I have heard this. I have heard this question from Kate. Right now, we don't actually know, but do we know how to run a cool show and have fun and connect with people? Yes. So it's definitely worth keeping that in mind. Yithian Historian, who gave the its name and why did they pick it? Well, that's not me. I'll tell you that much. It was Tristan.
What? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Shut the hell up.
It wasn't me.
Are you sure?
It wasn't me.
Yeah, I'm 100% sure, because the became like the de facto term for it. I don't know if you can find maybe the mention of this being that Cthulhu once referred to what we now know as the It was Atul, the unfathomable eidolon. That was used one time, and then it was dumped. I was trying to find out, like, what is in similar way as the Tetrasthenonica, what is the least number of syllables you could express a thought in? What seemed like it could be the most complex in the least with the least amount of room? But the is so much better and cleaner, and it's smarter in general.
Hold on, you don't think of yourself as coming up with it?
No, that was yours. That the term is yours.
Is it?
And you know what? The God is yours too, because part of the agreement at the beginning was like, can you throw stuff in? And I don't know what's going on. And yes, the answer was yes. This is your game.
That's the same with DONAAR. I had the background and everything, but I didn't name his town. You named Jannar. I didn't name Jannar.
Well, that's weirding me out a lot. That's not how I think of it.
It's been a long time.
It is. It's yours.
Woof.
Or Barovian did it. I don't know.
Yeah, I was also it's
your imagination.
Also, it's Tristan. Honestly, I could make a strong case. Barovian Bex, what will you miss the most about playing the C-Team characters? Now, obviously, in my fantasy, we would see these characters again at some point, bare minimum, like on the Acq Inc. stage. But it is worth taking a moment right now to think about what we were able to accomplish together in this specific time. I think that's worth lauding for sure. So what would you miss about playing your characters? Like, what is it about them that has been nourishing to you, has been of use to you?
Joke answer is free therapy with my friends.
Yeah.
The real
opposite
answer,
of free.
it's not
the real answer is free therapy with my friend.
That's what I was gonna say. The real answer is free therapy. No, I was gonna say that being in a safe zone in front of, with all of my friends in front of my, hundreds of closest confidants. No. When we're in the room together, I just feel like it's just us in the room together. And there's been a lot of like exploration that I would not do at every table. And it was very nice to get to do it with all of y'all. I won't miss that.
Our table it is okay to explore at our table. It's okay to do.
I have always wanted to be the kind of friend who's like too much and very nurturing and like very, very maternal. And I think that because I chose to make this character, I got to be that for my friends at this table. Like I feel like I have tried to help take care of almost all of you, most of you, maybe all of you at some point or another. And that there might have just been just like a little bit of Rosie in there that made it so like, okay, come take care of me. And I think that's been really nice. Yitzbin I'll just miss because God, it's just nice to like, Ryan, you know what I'm saying? It's nice to just let go and be an idiot. Just be as stupid as possible. This guy gets it.
There's a lot of jokes down there.
It's just
boys,
so easy.
say something.
Yeah.
Boys, you go.
I mean, for DONAAR, I think DONAAR has run his course personally. I am not opposed to endings. I think there's been a nice journey of growth for the character over our 4+ seasons. I like that. I like bookending things. I don't think things have to go on forever. I like Still and Vertex more almost. It's like, oh, there's still things to find out about them.
The next chapter for Still would be so interesting. To me, I would love to see that again. Now, Crasp, what's going on up there?
I think similarly, I keep coming back to the idea that Cthulhu is fundamentally was like a horror outlet, or like this existential outlet. And there's no way to get rid of them. I'm just carry them like a millstone. That's who I become. It's like too close. There's too much. I need to get some distance. But Quiver is like, I want to know. I want to explore. I want to see these cats. I want to see what that was like. We did not go back to that family or anything. I want to see these. And it was also nice to play not a detached, but a loving, kind.
Adventurer. I think so too. Like that dad energy is quite rare, I think, in media, and it's really, really. I tried to provide as many opportunities as I could for it. Scarlet Moth, what is one memory of your character or one scene from the show that will stick with you forever? And of course, we know that this question comes from the moth because it comes from the heart. Is there a memory, like a character moment that you think is going to hang around for you?
We always answer this question, but I don't know that Chris very often answers this question. What's one big one for you?
Me personally, I was trying to come up with a memory, but I think I don't know if I can come up with a specific one, but I think that mine leans on Triss and like Cthulhu and Walnut as the siblings, as the at the beginning of the confusion Cthulhu has and ends up calling Walnut Myliki. It's such a charming, like it's a very kind, and it's not a place I expected to go with the character, right? But it's I'm very fond of it.
One of my favorite Cthulhu memories is when, sorry, Triss. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that I did not expect that to go that way either, because I remember Walnut being very antagonistic towards Cthulhu in the beginning, just being like
Drought, ancient enemy.
Yeah, and what's funny is that I made Walnut the character because she's dealing with like being displaced from her home, which as a person that moved very far away from home, that was the thing that I was dealing with at the time. And then similarly in my life where I was like, oh yeah, you can also have like found family in your life. And then like leaning into that more in the game, I'm like, oh, the art imitating life or life imitating art. Oh boy. And it's just like, that hit me right at the right time in my actual factual life for me to be like, and I will now hyperfixate on these elves.
Yeah. So one of my favorite Chris Straub / Cthulhu Straub moments was early on with the Wandering Crypt, where they didn't want to leave the symbols. And it was one of the first big inter-party conflicts. And I loved it. I thought it was so cool. It's becoming more and more dangerous. It's rising. And then, of course, Ryan being new to D&D, it's just like, so this other person, like this other player can actually fuck things up for the whole party, like realizing that how sophisticated the play space is. It was just really, really neat. One of my favorite moments for Walnut was actually from the third season. Aww.
And it's this little thing. I just remember that it's on my desk. It says, I'm a road, not a home. And it has Cthulhu and Walnut on it, and they're back to back.
It's a good phrase. But there was a really cool moment where Walnut wanted to basically annihilate herself for the Grove, but her mother had predicted she would try. So I already actually had the answer for that as you were doing all that, but that act took you almost like 2 games to get through. And it was just nuts. It's just nuts. It's hard to imagine this stuff happening in a role-playing game, but it did. It's hard to imagine it all happening in the same game. It's really wild. So, Ryan or Kate, do you have any juice?
The moment that Ryan was like the moral compass when we killed Oak, like
I was gonna say,
yeah, that's Ryan's. That's actually DONAAR's thing.
Yeah, that was a fun one, and it's funny too because I didn't tell y'all that I was gonna do that, but I did say I was like, I just gave a little warning, like I'm gonna bring heat today, just go with it, sort of thing. But that was fun, and I like this scene where Rosie talked him down, especially off the top of your head, having to put that all together, because I knew what I was gonna do going into that game, but you didn't, Kate, and that was really cool. I really liked also the one where everyone played DONAAR's siblings. That was really a fun one.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Actually, but like I was thinking about this, just the anticipation of like the series ending and stuff, and also with the Doomgate. I was like, what are some of my favorite moments? And the one probably single moment that I really liked the most, because I remember it so clearly, it was the Doomgate episode where, and I had told you on the side, Jerry, that I wanted to retcon and retroactively have been poisoning everyone for a whole year off camera.
That's right.
And I remember when it all was kind of revealed and clicked, and Tris, you were like, what the fuck? Like really loudly right next to me. But it was also a live game, so like as everyone realized what was happening and what I was saying, like there was like this slow like rumble of laughter of like understanding, and then everyone was like, holy shit, he's been poisoning everyone and cursing them because he's so insecure. Like, yeah, that was good. That was a
Hair of the dog.
God, that's so funny.
Sucked.
For me, there's a lot of incredible moments that are very fond, and we've been over them. But the one that I will remember until the day upon which I die is when Walnut motherfucking DANKGRASS and Tristan Falcone at the same time conspired without meaning to make me cry online. Like
IRL?
Genuinely burst into tears during a game because I could not manage the fact that my emotions were real. They were Rosie's emotions, and they were also Kate's emotions. And to me, that has become this moment that I tell people about, even though like when people come and they tell you about I've said this before, but people tell you about their D&D games, it's like hearing about their dreams. You're like, I can't relate to this. It sounds great though. But I do this now because of you, Walnut. I tell people about when I cried online because my emotions were so real. And I find it scientifically fascinating that a game that you make up in your head, it's not real, that none of it is happening and the people aren't real, but you can feel real emotions and remember it like it's a thing that really happened to you. There's wizardry in that. And I'll never forget that. So the day I die.
That is such a good way of putting it. That the one for me that is the first day that like the time that Walnut and Brahma actually like met up in the on the boat
on the Horde.
Right. And that happened in that episode and they had their romantic dalliance. But I remember that as after the episode, I'm like, oh, that was the day Walnut and Brahma hooked up. And then I went to the beach and watched the sunset and just fucking thought about life. I was just like really wistful and like outside of the game, I had like a 2-hour come down. I was like, what the?
Yeah, there's been a lot of episodes where I needed aftercare. Like we have all gotten in the chat that night and been like, hey, is everybody doing okay? That was really intense. Does anybody need a hug virtually?
Yeah, no. Yeah, we've done a lot of stuff.
Jerry, what's your favorite moment of all that's going to stay with you till you die? Of all of it.
There was one moment, like there's too many, but there is a specific moment. So I'm always trying to emphasize sensory data that characters perceive inside the game. And just because that gets hooked into people's memories the most, I want them to experience it as viscerally as possible. There was a moment in the Velvet Cloak arc in the 3rd season where everybody was sort of like brought down into this vault where the weapon was that they were going to use to try to destroy the Sangolith. And because it's completely hermetically sealed, the ship around it was destroyed. And then when it opened back up, it was just the wreckage of the fleet. And to me, like that was such especially like moving out to where there's like no sound, like not being able to know something terrible had happened. That's one of my biggest fears, is that expanse between, but like when something has happened, something catastrophic has happened, and there's a period of time where you don't know it, and just, oh man, it was hardcore. It's all to the G. Now, Barovian Bex has one more question for you, Tristan. Tristan, do you have any advice for designing a prefab character for a recently discovered non-binary teen? It could have been discovered in a crate. I don't know.
Scientists have recently discovered.
Exactly. You can see them holding up two vials. I want
left
to
in a cradle on someone's doorstep.
Yeah, male, female.
I have something that I wrote notes on because I've gotten this question a lot in my DMs, and now I can just generally answer this. One, good on you for trying to make space for this person. And
totally,
the table is a great place to work things out. Sometimes, if you're gonna make a character for anyone, I think it's great advice for anyone. But you can make the character, make their combat kit, and you could either invite the player to describe the character during the first session, so you're not prescribing maybe like how they look or how they present or anything about them. I mean, you could even, if you're doing a prefab where you're like, okay, it's going to be a dragonborn, great, but like you could leave everything else up to them. Or they could also like do a drawing if they're inclined, or write a couple sentences beforehand, but just giving them the space to like maybe alone, just kind of like think about that. But the other thing I was going to say is that while some people find D&D a great place to explore those things, some people don't. But just because you're offering them that opportunity, don't expect them to take it. But it is nice that you're doing that.
Absolutely.
That is my prescriptive advice. The end. Take it with a grain of salt.
I love it. Hey, Book of Alyssa, the last one. Oh, actually, there's been a recent addition. The Gummy Minis Kickstarter. If you saw our Spice and Dice and saw the ritual that we were part of, it was very intense. The Gummy Mini Kickstarter, actually, I checked it yesterday, and it has actually succeeded. They were like at 23 Gs last time I saw. But there are 4 days left in the Kickstarter, so go if you're trying to get a piece of that hit up gummyminis.com. That has a link to the Kickstarter in there. Number 8, Jerry, thank partners. Level Up Dice, Idle Champions, Elderwood Academy. Obviously, much love. Thank you so much for supporting the show all these years. Until next time, revered Shadow Council, may our labors please you. We'll see you next week.